Hello, it is Reviews Day Tuesday and it is time for a new episode of Discworld Discourses. Today I am going to be talking about Wintersmith, which is the 35th Discworld book by Terry Pratchett. It is the third of the Tiffany A. King stories for younger readers and it was first published in 2006. In it, Tiffany is now 13 and continuing her training as a witch. After making a mistake, she draws the attention of the Wintersmith, the elemental who controls winter, and she must set about making things right and undoing the damage she has caused. I think that Wintersmith is quite interesting in the Tiffany A. King series, and also across the Discworld series as a whole. There are a couple of things that set it apart slightly, and there are positives and negatives to these things. Firstly, we begin at the climax, and then we flash back to see how we got to this point, which felt to me pretty rare in the Discworld series, you know, where the stories tend to take place pretty linearly. It made the first few chapters exciting, it felt inventive and new and a bit of a novelty, but also as I got further into the book I would forget the beginning a bit, you know, because the rest of the story takes place in sort of the traditional way, and then the ending felt a bit anticlimactic because one of the exciting bits was at the start. Also, I really like that we start with a mistake that Tiffany has made, and we see her having to deal with that and the repercussions. I enjoyed that from a narrative and a character perspective, although it wasn't entirely clear to me why Tiffany had taken that action. I would have welcomed delving into that a bit more. For these reasons, I'd probably say that Wintersmith is my least favourite Tiffany A. King book, but also I value its differences, the things that make it interesting and unusual. Wintersmith is also a great book for characters. I love Miss Treason, the sinister seeming witch who Tiffany is living with. Great character and a great arc, one of those really vivid Pratchett characters to me. I also love that as well as Granny Weatherwax we see a lot more of Nanny AAG, and also we get to see her through the eyes of Tiffany. I feel like so often Granny Weatherwax gets a lot of the attention, understandably so, she's an amazing creation, but I really valued seeing more of Nanny AAG in this book, and also seeing her through the eyes of somebody who didn't know her before, and also who wasn't particularly looking at her through the lens of her standing next to Granny Weatherwax. We also had some nice character development for Roland, which was fun, and although the Knack-Mack Feagle feel relatively like supporting characters in this book, I really enjoy them, and they do add something to the Tiffany A. King stories. Another thing I want to mention is how I'm growing to enjoy Tiffany's coven. There's a side plot in the book about Anagramo getting a cottage and the others having to help her, and I love the dynamics within this group of young witches who all have strengths and weaknesses and different relationships, and I also specifically like how we have grown to know Petulia better. So yes, there are a lot of great things in Wintersmith. It's an enjoyable read. There are also some fun little nods to previous books, for instance Groat from the Post Office and the book Where's My Cow. As I said before, I think that some of the things that make the book different and exciting are also things that to me make the book work less well, but I still definitely recommend reading Wintersmith, and I will give it 3.9 out of 5. I would really love to know what you think about Wintersmith if you have read it. If you liked the book, what should you read next? I definitely recommend I Shall Wear Midnight, which is the next Tiffany A. King book. Or if you haven't already, then I would recommend going back and reading the Witches series so that you can get to know Granny Weatherwax and Nanny AAG better. If you didn't get on so well with Wintersmith, then you could continue with Publication Order and read Making Money next, assuming that you have read Going Postal already. I only have one fact about Wintersmith for you today. The folk rock band Steel Eye Span collaborated with Pratchett to make a Wintersmith concept album, which was released in 2013. That is it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. My next Discworld Discourses will be on the 7th of July, and I will be talking about Making Money. And the full list of Discworld books and when I'm planning on reviewing them will be linked in the description below. Let's move across to the end screen. If you'd like to see my latest video or some more Discworld Discourses, then you can do so below me here, and you can also subscribe to my channel or visit my website if you wish to beside me here. And if you fancy checking out my Patreon page, the link to that is in the description below. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.